Things just got worse and worse and worse as the night went on. Again, valiant effort down the stretch for the Bucs. Just too little, too late. Let's go down and let's see what Coach Fletch and the rest of the crew has to say. And as always, go Bulls. So let's head into the locker room right now and see what the guys have to say about that one. Wow. Where do the Buccaneers go from here? What an incredible atmosphere. What a good win for the Tampa Bay Lightning. They snapped a 7-game winning streak. How we feeling, Bucs Nation? It's time to party, baby.
What's going on, everybody? I'll tell you what. I'd say I'm at a loss for words, but you sure as hell know that I am not ever at a loss for words. I always got something to say, and today is no different. I always say, wait until 24 hours, see if you still feel the same way. Oh, I do, about the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. And I just finished in the kitchen. The oven is finally off because I was baking a blame cake so I could hand out a slice to everybody in the Tampa Bay Buccaneers organization. There are a lot of slices to hand out. And I felt a little bit better. Yesterday, we won a game, not the Bucs. My 13-year-old team won. I finally got some good sleep. Today, the Brian Hartline press conference. I mean, good stuff. Felt pretty good. But then again, I started looking back at the Buccaneers game, and that is going to take up the first hour of our program today. What happened yesterday was absolutely embarrassing. Embarrassing, despicable, awful, very bad. And it starts at the top. Everybody at the top. Ian will join us at 12:30. I'll give you my takeaways from Brian Hartline's press conference at 1 o'clock today. We'll get back. We'll talk more Bucs in the 1 o'clock hour because we're not going to get it all in the first 30 minutes before Ian hops on. I know for a complete fact that's going to happen. Also, the winners and losers from yesterday. Why college football, even though there were some winners, there was a lot more losers. There was bad. And I'll talk about my experience as well at the UT ring ceremony on Saturday night. And I have it right here. University of Tampa Spartans, 2025 NCAA National Baseball Champions. I have my ring in here. You guys want to see it? You guys want to see the ring? You're going to have to wait. You're going to have to wait till later on today. I'm sure you probably saw it on social media, but I haven't posted all the pictures yet, but it's in this box right here. We'll show you in the 1 o'clock hour to make us feel a little bit better about what the hell happened at Raymond James Stadium yesterday. Make sure you follow me on all social media platforms, Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, Twitch, TikTok, Instagram. I want to hear from everybody today. Questions, comments, concerns, leave them at the bottom. If you want to join in on the conversation, here is the link right there in the chat. StreamYard.com/BT2HWKCI4R. Click on that link right there in the chat, whether you're on your phone, whether you're on the laptop, but plenty to get into today. Before we get into it, I want to thank Honest Hammer Custom Builders, LLC, our partners from day one, residential, commercial, whatever you need. 813-244-0956. Get you a discount. Tell them that you heard it right here on the Recher podcast. And of course, EverHealth, our ever popular EverHealth injury report with Dr. Carlos Rodriguez. He is all over it. Remember, when everybody out there was saying Tristan Wirfs was trending to play on Sunday, who told you that he wasn't going to be there? Dr. Carlos Rodriguez was the only person that told you that Tristan Wirfs would not play this weekend. Think about that. That's why you want to tune in to him. He was on with us last Friday. He's on with us this Thursday, pretty much every Thursday at 12:30 right here on the Recher podcast. A tough weekend for the Tampa Bay Lightning. Breaking news about an hour ago, Andrei Vasilevsky's been put on IR. Kucherov is out. You got Point, McDonough, and Chernak all on IR. Not great for the Tampa Bay Lightning. They're on a little bit of a swoon, a 3-game losing streak, but I'm not too concerned about them because all those guys, none of those injuries seem to be long-term. They'll all be back. They were in first place. They munched some of those points that John Cooper's always liked to talk about. So we're not going to harp on the Bolts today. In action tonight against the Toronto Maple Leafs, yeah, you never know. Steal a point or two from those guys. That is always fun to go up there and beat them north of the border. I'm just getting stretched. Getting ready. Y'all ready? Y'all ready for this? Da-na-na-na. Left St. Pete yesterday. Went to Ian's. Watched the last 3 quarters of the game. And, listening to the postgame show with Tom Krasnicki over on WDAE and watching social media and listening to what everybody has to say. I want to start off by saying this. And I mentioned this on social media yesterday. I was one of the loudest defenders of Todd Bowles because I felt that the team has improved, the team has gotten better, and the things that we did not appreciate with him, he's shown an openness to change. He brought in a guy to help with the clock. He changed some of the defensive staff, and he's a leader. He's a leader that when things go wrong for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, there's no fracture. And you still really don't see the fracture now. So, you can laud him for that, even currently with this team not playing so well. But I am always going to keep it 100 with you guys. And I am going to always be honest and transparent. And the things that I've defended Todd Bowles for, nowhere to be found yesterday. I am not a Todd Bowles hater. None of what I'm going to say today is personal. Just because I speak with energy and emotion doesn't mean that I'm taking it personal. But it is what it is. And we cover this team and we care about this team. We put energy into this team. So yeah, at times if you get a little emotional about it, it's, it is what it is. But the leadership core for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers has to wear this today. The blame goes on everybody. A useless conversation about the Tampa Bay Buccaneers is if you're trying to say, well, how much to blame is Baker Mayfield? How much to blame is Todd Bowles? How much to blame is Jason Licht? How much to blame is the players? It doesn't fucking matter. It doesn't matter. Everybody's to blame. Everybody. It's not just Todd. It's not just Jason Licht. It's not just Baker. It's not just the players. It's everybody. Everybody. So when people want to say, well, if you blame Todd, don't forget about the players. Or if you play the players, don't get rid of, don't forget about Todd. Nobody's forgetting anybody. How can you forget anything from what you saw yesterday? An absolutely pathetic performance from the Buccaneers. There's thousands of people in the Tampa Bay area that went to the freaking game and sat in that shitty weather and sat there the whole freaking time. And that's the kind of effort that they put out there? Who's in charge of that? Todd Bowles is in charge of that. He's got to wear it. The players, they're the ones that are out there. They have to wear it. Why did it look like the Tampa Bay Buccaneers were the only team playing in the rain yesterday? Baker Mayfield and the Bucs looked so bothered. My 13-year-old team was 1-9, and they went and won a game in the rain in St. Pete yesterday. 13-year-olds showed more heart than the Tampa Bay Buccaneers did yesterday. That's bullshit. That's not good enough. You lost to a team that was 2-10. It didn't look like the weather was bad enough for Tyler Shuck. It didn't look like the weather was bad enough for Carl Granderson. All these excuses about this guy and this guy. Well, the defense and the injuries and all that other shit. I don't want to hear it. If Todd Bowles is a defensive guru, bro, you had Antoine Winfield Jr., you had Vita Vea, you had Levante David, you had Hassan Reddick until he got hurt, you had Yaya Diaby, you had Zion, you had Jamel Dean, you had Tyke Smith until he got hurt. What's the excuse? You're getting beat over the middle time and time and time and time and time again. Change your scheme. Do something. As much as you want to blame Jason Licht, and I do, it's so weird. We get in this weird habit in Tampa. I don't know why it's like this. If a guy does well and then he doesn't do well, people have just been waiting with the pitchforks to get rid of Todd Bowles. Waiting. I don't like his demeanor, which I think is just the biggest bullshit thing that anybody could say. I don't care about anything. I don't care what his demeanor is on the sidelines. He's not out there playing. Everybody's scared to say Jason Licht has not done a good enough job of bringing in pass rushers to this team. He hasn't. He hasn't done a good job of putting some speed at the linebacker position. Levante David does not look like the same guy. Missed tackle on third down along the right sideline. You just can't do that. Everybody and their mother was telling me, don't you remember before the season when I said, are we sure about the linebacker situation? Are we sure that this is a depth? This is depth. We got depth there. That's the position group with the most depth. That's what they told us. Seriously? Don't pour water on my head and tell me it's raining. Savasier Dennis is a guy, everybody and their mother, well, if he's back from his shoulder, he can cover. Look at how bad the defense was when he went out last year. Maybe the defense is just bad. Savasier Dennis, I don't get it. I don't get it. If you're Todd Bowles, again, I've defended Todd because he's a hell of a leader, a great guy, and I do think part of it has to do with Jason Licht not bringing more people in here. Fine. We'll stay with that, right? Stay on that line of thinking, okay? Listen to me. As a coach, and I'm saying this from experience, not at the professional level, but at any level, your job as a coach is to do what? Put your players in a position to succeed. And if you keep running a defense as if you have a 4-man defensive line that can rush the passer without a blitz and you don't want to change and your team gets sliced and diced over and over and over again from quarterbacks from Matthew Stafford, who could be MVP, to Tyler Mother and Shuck, that is on you, Todd. That is on you. You have to change. I am sick and tired of watching Yaya Diaby and Hassan Reddick dropping into coverage. You can't rush the passer. So drop those guys into coverage? What sense does that make? If your defense is only good when you can rush 4, then you got to change or you're going to get your head bashed in. Time and time and time again. Over the middle. Holy shit, man. If you had $1 for every no-name receiver that has beaten the Buccaneers over the middle this year, you might be able to buy the goddamn Rays. Holy shit. I just don't understand what I'm watching yesterday. And it's on everybody. It's on everybody. Everybody gets a slice of blame cake today. It's on Todd. It's on Jason Licht. They were on their 3rd string right tackle at the end of the game yesterday. Does Yaya Diaby beat the 3rd string right tackle when he's going up one-on-one? No. And everybody and their mother going into this season, because that's the cool freaking thing to do in Tampa, is to say that this guy, insert name here, as the pass rusher is going to be a 10-sack guy. You said it about Joe Tryon-Shoyinka. Wrong. You said it about Chris Braswell. Wrong. You said it about Yaya Diaby. Wrong. Wrong. Not good enough. Players, coaching, front office. Jason Licht values these draft picks. Fine. But we all know to build a good team, to build a great team, you need a complement. You need to be able to win through the draft. You need to be able to trade some guys. You need to be able to sign for a free agent. And I know everybody loves their draft picks because you look at Tristan Wirfs and you look at Antoine Winfield Jr. But let's not forget, the Buccaneers signed Tom Brady in free agency. The Bucs trade for Rob Gronkowski. They brought in Antonio Brown. They didn't draft any of those guys. They brought in Ndamukong Suh. They traded for Jason Pierre-Paul. What are we talking about? It's not just on the draft. You got to go out and make a splash move. Now, do you want to go all the way on the other side and say F them picks? Most of the time, that doesn't work. Look at the Lightning. Trade after trade after trade. We'll worry about the picks when we get there. Now you see a little bit of a change, right? It's a combination. It's a combination. You have to invest from within. You got to build. You got to cultivate the farm system. I understand that. But when you have glaring needs on your defense and you have not been able to draft guys in those spots, utilize your other resources to make your team better. Why don't you go out and get a Robert Spillane last year that's a tackling machine to help your defense? Why not go get a pass rusher? Any pass rusher. Get Jalen Phillips. Get anybody. Do something to help this team out. There's so many pieces on this team that is a win now. This is how Mike Evans and Levante David's last season is going to end. With this bullshit, losing at home, you're not beating the Panthers both games. You're going to miss the playoffs in the worst division of football again? This team's going to look a whole hell of a lot different next year. I would not be surprised at all as if this team misses the playoffs and Bowles is gone, Grizzard is gone. He's getting it in a second. Evans is gone and Levante is gone. And it's a completely different team next year. Josh Grizzard is catching some heat too. What are we talking about the hot hand with the running back situation? If a guy's running hard, keep him out there. You're not doing the hot hand thing. Sean Tucker looked good. All of a sudden, it's like we don't see him. Bucky Irving gets hurt again, comes out of the game. He goes back in. There's no rhyme or reason. You know what the hot hand? You know when you say the hot hand, you know what that means? I'm going to do whatever the hell I want. There's no rhyme or reason. I'm just going to do what I feel like is good. No continuity whatsoever. Nothing. When I look at Josh Grizzard, I look at one of the main components of why this offense has no identity this year. He is so much more like Dave Canales than Liam Cohen. It is sickening. Sickening. Let me tell you this. What was the final score of the game yesterday? What was the final score? It was 24-20. Can anybody tell me when the Buccaneers got the ball back at the end of the game? Tell me how much time was left. Does anybody know? It was 1:50. There was more than 1 minute and 50 seconds on the clock. And instead of little chunk plays here and there, and instead of a dump off, maybe even running the freaking football, with no Ben Bredesen and no Tristan Wirfs, what does Josh Grizzard have Baker Mayfield do on 3 consecutive plays? Drop back and have these long extended routes where you have to wait for guys to come open. Like you have to get 80 freaking yards in 12 seconds. What kind of bullshit is that? What are we talking about? Is everybody watching the same game? Why did they do that? Run a bubble screen. Do something. Handoff. Something. Earlier in the game, 4th and 1. A toss in the rain? What are we doing? You can't run the ball up the middle. You just couldn't do it 2-3 freaking weeks ago in New Orleans. You're trying to do it again. You get stuffed. What is going on? For all those people that talk about Todd Bowles not doing the right thing, Josh Grizzard is just as culpable. Well, he's out there and he's with the team last year and he helped on 3rd downs and blah, 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 blah. Whatever, dude. Whatever. Whatever. Do something. He's not the answer as offensive coordinator. One and done. One and done for me. Emeka Egbuka dropping the football, not good enough. Chris Godwin bobbling that play on 4th down along the sideline, not good enough. So you notice that I'm interweaving everybody today. Everybody's catching smoke from Jay Recher today. Because you're going to get these weird juxtapositions, these dichotomies of people that try to analyze the Buccaneers. And they try to separate it. And they go, well, it's the coaching and it's the players. It's not. It's everybody. Y'all sucked yesterday. Everybody. Everybody gets a slice of this cake. Jason Licht, Todd Bowles, Josh Grizzard, every single one of the freaking players. The only guys that I look at yesterday and I think, you're going to pass, Bucky Irving and Rashad White and Sean Tucker. That's it. That's it. Kate Otten, you need 10 yards. Why are you running a route at 9.5? Mind-boggling. And I'm going to tell you this right now, because nobody ever wants to talk about this shit. Nobody. I haven't heard one person say this. Correct me if I'm wrong. Tyler Shuck, a quarterback on a 2-10 team that couldn't beat Spencer Rattler out to start the season for the lowly New Orleans Saints, outplayed Baker Mayfield. And I don't know what it is about everybody in Tampa when it comes to Baker Mayfield. For all those people that are out there calling for Todd Bowles' job, everybody's silent as a church mouse when it comes to the play of Baker Mayfield the last 6 weeks. Now, sure, can he escape the pocket and show a lot of heart and run for first downs? Fine. Great. Good. Great. Grand. Wonderful. Your first job is a quarterback. Accuracy and decision-making. When you watched that game yesterday, did that look like a guy that was comfortable? Did that look like a guy that was ready to lead this team in every sort of weather? He looked so miserable yesterday. Nobody wants to say that. Sitting there on the sidelines. You want to talk about stoicism and talk about sitting there on the sidelines silent? There was more shots of Baker doing that yesterday than Todd Bowles, but nobody's got the balls to say anything about that in Tampa Bay because you think it makes you look like a hypocrite because the guy was an MVP candidate in the beginning of the year. He's got to play better. I don't give a shit if he's hurt or not. If you're that hurt, then don't play. He's not going to use that as an excuse. He's got to be better. You got to call a spade a spade. If you're talking about the Buccaneers and you're not including Baker Mayfield and why this team has not played good the past couple of weeks, you're lying to yourself and you're scared of pissing people off. I'm not scared of shit. It's not personal. I love the energy. I love what he's been able to do as the quarterback position. He's going to tell you this more. He's more pissed about his performance than I am. But I'm going to keep it real. Baker Mayfield, and again, nobody's looking into this because everybody wants to give him a pass. Everybody. Did you know that Baker Mayfield, listen, open your ears. Did you know that Baker Mayfield has a lower completion percentage this year than Jackson Dart, Jacoby Brissett, Bryce Young? Wait for these next two. Justin Fields. Have you seen some of his stat lines this year for the Jets? Have you seen them? He's got a higher completion percentage than Baker Mayfield. And the last guy that I'm going to mention was the guy that was under center for the New Orleans Saints yesterday. Tyler Shuck. Now, is the completion percentage the end-all, be-all? No. Do I care if you're number one in the league? No. But if you're below those five guys, sometimes there's an aberration, and there's a guy that, hey, he only throws 4-yard passes. Of course, whatever. One guy, it's not that big of a deal. Those five, a rookie in Dart, a guy in Fields who has some of the worst stat lines we've ever seen, Jacoby Brissett, who was an option here, Bryce Young, who people were talking about was a bust until this year, and Tyler Shuck, the quarterback of a team that was 2-10. So when everybody is out there talking about this is Todd's problem or this is on the players, make sure you include number 6. Because this team is only going to go as far, and I've said this from the beginning of the season. It's part of the reason why I felt so good about this team early on. This team is only going to go as far as his leaders take them. But when I look at this team right now, Jason Licht did not do a good enough job of fortifying this defense. Baker Mayfield has not played good, whether it's injury induced or what. Okay, fine. It is what it is. If he's out there, I don't ever like hearing that about injuries. Well, he's injured and he's hurt and he's banged up and blah, blah, blah. That's not an excuse. If you're good enough to be out there, injuries are not an excuse. You got to play. Here's the other thing. When you're watching that game yesterday and you're talking about, oh, the third downs and blah, 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 and you just got to get them here. And if you did this and if you did that, did it really look like at any point yesterday that this Buccaneers team was going to stop that Saints team on third down? At all. And look at the pressure. And look at we have so many caveats when it comes to Tampa Bay sports. It's crazy. Ifs and buts were candies and nuts and all these different things. And if my aunt had an Adam's apple, she'd be my uncle. Well, who cares? Zero-sum business. It's black and white. There's no gray area today. Black, white. That's it. You're good or you're not good. The Bucs are not good. And it's sad because there was a lot of people that were wondering in the beginning of the season, when you win that many close games, is there something special? Is there something different about this team? Guess not. Smoke and mirrors. Ian and I have been talking about that from the beginning of the season. When you win games like you do in the beginning of the season, when you win games like that, when you snatch victory from the jaws of defeat, you either use that to catapult you throughout the season until you form that identity, and then you're firing on all cylinders as you get into the postseason, or you get exposed. You want to call it luck, whatever. But there's so much blame to go around for this team. I don't want to hear that it's this or that. I don't want to hear about the injuries. I don't want to hear about that. Well, if Josh Gazard had this, he doesn't. So what are you going to do? You know what good teams don't do? They don't complain about injuries. They don't complain about the guys that are not there. Everybody gets pissed off about the next man up mentality. So how come we don't use that in our rationale when we're judging teams? There's other teams out there that win. Go look at the standings. Look at some of those guys. It's the National Football League. No team goes throughout the season scot-free, injury-free. It doesn't happen. The NFL stands for not for long. Some of the best teams in the NFL, what you do is how to mitigate. How do you get around some of the Buccaneers didn't have, everybody talks about the Chiefs didn't have this offensive line in the Super Bowl. The Buccaneers were without their starting right guard in the Super Bowl. Vita Vea was coming back after he broke his leg. And he was able to come back. You think he was 100%? All the excuses about the Buccaneers and everybody that, listen, again, I've been a staunch supporter of Todd Bowles. And it's ironic that everybody wants to come out with their pitchforks and now they want to get rid of him. I can't even defend Todd Bowles. I can't. You're not putting your players in a position to succeed. Your coaching staff, listen, Todd Bowles and Jason Licht, they decided together to bring Josh Gazard in after Liam Cohen. You have to wear that. You had a lot of guys healthy yesterday, and I know you lost them throughout the game, but even early on, it didn't look like they could stop a freaking nosebleed yesterday. It was Tyler Shuck. I thought shucking is something you do to oysters, but no. He's just a guy that waltzed right into Raymond James Stadium yesterday and punked the Buccaneers. The Saints punked the Bucs. What does that say about Tampa Bay? If you get punked in the rain by a 2-10 team, I have no sympathy, empathy for you whatsoever. You don't look like a good team. You don't look like a great team. You don't look like a playoff team. You look like a golf team. You look like you're going to be hitting the links with the Giants and the Jets and everybody else. I got more slices of blame cake to hand out later on the program. But let's bring him in for his weekly chat. Number 62 in your programs, but really number 1 in your hearts and number 1 in the country. The great Indiana Hoosier, Ian Beckles. What's going on, buddy?
What do you mean by number 1 in the country? What do you mean by that?
I try to explain, and I'm so glad that we've become friends over the years, because one of my really good friends growing up, Bubba, he was a Packers fan, and I try to explain to my friends, like, if it has nothing to do with your team, I always like to see my friends have success. And you're obviously number 1 on that list when it comes to what's going on with Indiana, because I don't have any, reason to cheer for Indiana other than you. But every time I see them do well, I feel happy for you. And to be able to watch them beat Ohio State in the fashion that they did, it's not just that they won, but how they won, Beck. Number 1 with a bullet, they've earned it.
Well, what a coincidence, Jay, because every time I see the win, I feel happy for me, too, because of all the years that I've gone through of, you've been around me. I don't talk. I'm not even talking crap now, okay?
No.
It's not really my thing. Am I happy? Hell yeah. Like I'm feeling what a lot of other colleges have felt for years. And I didn't I see Florida State. I'm like, man, it must be nice to be good every year, and all these different schools. It's been pretty darn enjoyable for the last couple of years. And I don't know how the way this ends, but, Signetti and Mendoza and all these guys on this team will probably be talked about maybe forever, regardless the way this ends. And that's got to be a good feeling if you're a Hoosier and you're wearing that uniform, that like this franchise is going to probably talk about you forever. That's got to be a good feeling.
Yeah, and sad to say, but even like if this is like the top of the mountain for them in this ride, like it accentuates it even more. Even going back to your years, right there in the late 80s, early 90s with, your guy, Anthony Thompson, like people look back on Indiana, and that's really the kind of the heyday of Indiana Hoosier football before this iteration of what we see right now. What we saw yesterday for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, brother, I've been going off for about 25 minutes about the blame. I feel like in the Bay Area, we get into it's either the coaches or the players. Beck, it's everybody. Throw everybody into the crawfish pot. I don't see anybody that's exempt from blame other than maybe the running backs yesterday. What do you make of that performance? You lose 2-10. You lose to a team that's 2-10 with a rookie quarterback at home in the rain. The Bucs got punked yesterday at Recher.
Listen, if you're a Buccaneer fan, and we're all Buccaneer fans, but some of us evaluate the Buccaneers differently. Some of us watch it with rosy glasses. Some of us watch it with Homer jackets on. Some people couldn't watch it normally, not many. I think I'm one of few people that could watch it normally, even though I'm a Buck fan. I see this. I ain't gonna lie to nobody. This Buccaneer team at the beginning of the year won games just despite. And I said that. I said, okay, well, and here's the thing with football. It always evens itself out. Mm-hmm. Always. If you're winning those close games early, despite not doing things well, to the back end of the season, it's going to even itself out, and that's what's happening right now. But if you're a Buccaneer fan that thought the Buccaneers were good, you were just proven wrong yesterday, because it was a bad football team that came in here with a bad quarterback that's never done anything in your house, 2-10, and beat you up pretty good. I put money. I try to be as honest as I can. I put money on the Saints because the Bucs are not 9 points better than anybody. But at no time when me putting money on the Saints did I think that the Buccaneers were going to lose that game. When they lost the game, I was like, okay, well, that explains some things.
I don't even know where to go next because there's just so many bad things.
Facts.
You and me, I think it's interesting to talk about Todd Bowles with you and me, because you and I have both, when everybody else was ready to jump off the Bowles train, you and I were like, well, easy there. But Beck, it's getting harder and harder, brother. It's getting harder and harder to defend him. And a couple of the reasons being, one, he was part of the reason that Josh Grizzard's the guy that took over for Liam Cohen. And he had a lot of healthy bodies yesterday. And I'm not saying this as it's not on the players. I just want to focus just on the fault and the blame on Todd Bowles. Beck, how many third downs wide open in the middle of the field? And if you don't have a 4-man pass rush, which you and I have said, right? It's hard to have a good defense without a pass rush. Beck, if you're that much of a defensive genius, that's other people's words, not ours. You got to do something different. How many times have we seen these guys drop into coverage? I mean, eventually he's got to wear some of this, because I don't think the team was ready yesterday. You could put that blame, and again, we will talk about the players individually in a second, but I mean, man, Bowles is having a rough go of it, and his seat is getting progressively hotter. This team doesn't make the playoffs this year. I wouldn't be surprised if Bowles was gone.
Well, I've always said that coaching is overrated, and there's in ways it is. But I'm not sure anybody wins with this team at this moment. We're just not that talented, unfortunately. You're right about guys running, open and dropping passes, and there's things going on out there that are not the coaching. I mean, to have 3 guys unblocked with a rookie quarterback back here, and he does his old Steve Young thing, pirouette, and, is a 20-yard touchdown. It's not coaching. That's a perfect play call. For Bucca to be dropping the ball in the end zone, that's a perfect play call. For Chris Godwin to be dropping the ball in the middle of the field with nobody around him, that's a perfect play call. So, like I said at the beginning of the year, when the Buccaneers were winning despite not doing some things, they're not doing those things anymore. They're not doing it, and they're not doing the little things. Like, they're not doing anything that equates to wins moving forward. And we've been saying, okay, they lost 3 in a row. They were like, okay, well, those were tough games, blah, blah, blah. They're just 3 NFL games to me. I don't really care who they're against. Oh, now we're going to catch them ourselves. We barely won last week in Arizona. And then this week in New Orleans, we have once again, he's an NFL player, so you got to show him respect. But if you have a good defense in your house and you have a rookie roll up in your house and he beats you like that, you got to eat crow. That's all.
You have Antoine Winfield Jr., you have Vita Vea, you have all these different guys, and the middle of the field is open every single time. So how is that not on the coaching?
Well, you say we have Antoine Winfield Jr., we have Vita Vea, and I'm going to rebut by saying so. What does that equate to? What does it equate to? Vita Vea equates to a play a game. That's what it equates to. It's not equating to much else. It's really not. And Antoine Winfield Jr., still like him as a player. When he's healthy, he's not doing enough. He's not doing enough. When Antoine Winfield Jr. set the standard and the bar very, 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 very high, and he's just not that player. Now, Antoine Winfield Jr. can't be great without greatness in front of him, and there's no greatness in front of him. So we can sit here and blame Todd Bowles and blame whoever we want, and listen, at the end of it, it falls on Todd Bowles.
No doubt.
And it falls on Jason Licht. That's when you give credit, you got to give them credit. And when you start dogging them out, it falls on them too. But if somebody took over this team, they got to revamp it. You can't stay with what we have. I mean, the injuries are a big deal, obviously, but it looks off. And you can lose at times and still look like we're close to something. We didn't lose and look like we're close to anything yesterday to me.
It's just hard for me when I'm looking at other teams around the league and they lose big players. And I look at San Francisco's defense and the way that they adjust their scheme when Fred Warner, they lose arguably the best middle linebacker in football. And they change their defense a little bit, not put so much on. I don't ever see an adjustment from Todd Bowles. It's the middle of the field back, like over and over again. It just seems like if you play a good offense, you're constantly getting out-schemed if you're Todd Bowles. We saw it in the Rams game. They couldn't do anything in that game. And it's just like, all right, one-on-one matchups, and I'm talking about the bomb down the sideline with Devontae Adams and Zion McCollum. Like, I understand that. But if guys are running wide open, right, isn't it you're like at what point, and you know me, Beck, I'm not one of those guys that it's like blame Bowles, blame the coach, blame I've always been very patient. But I'm looking at this, and me as a coach and you as a coach as well, your goal is to put your players in a position to succeed. And if teams are beating you with the same things over and over and over again, and you're getting beat by Devontae Adams, and then you're getting beat by a New Orleans Saints unnamed rookie that nobody knows, what's the difference there, right? The only difference for me is that the scheme has not changed. Guys are running wide open. That can't be because they're getting beat one-on-one all the time, is it?
Well, I mean, I would have concern, Jay, if it was out of character. It ain't. It ain't.
Right. Okay.
This is
But that's why I'm
gonna
saying
happen.
it's not just the players. It's
No.
not just Bowles. It's everybody.
Yes. Now, what you said earlier, I agree with, but then you have to think about what you said. Other teams like San Francisco lost Fred Warner and some players like that. Okay. Now, I understand with Tristan Wirfs. Now, let me talk about Kalijah Cansey, and let me talk about some of the other players that maybe we lost on defense. Are they Fred Warner? Because Kalijah Cansey ain't Fred Warner. So if I say to
Right.
you, you lose Fred Warner, what do you lose? I'll be like, damn, you lose a dozen plays a game and maybe the best cover, linebacker in the league. When you lose Kalijah Cansey, what do you lose? Up and coming defensive lineman. So those are different, okay?
But shouldn't
Well,
it be harder? Shouldn't it be harder then for San Francisco to make up for that loss than the Buccaneers? You know what I'm
what
saying? Like it should be harder for San Francisco because he's an All-Pro future Hall of Famer probably.
100%. But I've always said, I've said this before. I like the way San Francisco is built because San Francisco is not built around the quarterback. They're built around a lot of
Right.
very good football players. And everybody right now wants to give Caleb Williams all this credit. It's not Caleb Williams. It's years of first rounders and good football around him. He ain't throwing the ball no damn 40 times. He's throwing it 25 times, running with his legs a little bit. So we get so enamored with the sexy part when it's the grimy part. And you know, Warner, you can't replace a Warner, okay?
Yeah.
And the Buccaneers right now, when you're looking at some of the guys that they lost, okay, when you lose a Vita Vea, once again, 5 sacks, 30 tackles maybe at the end of the year, it's not game-changing type stuff.
Right.
So we don't have a lot of game changers on our defense. I'd like to, if you bring one up, I would be happy if you bring a game changer up, but I don't see a lot of it on be honest with you, we don't got a lot of game changers on offense either, Jay, because when Ibuka is the number one guy out there dropping passes, and I think if you look back 6 weeks from ago, we had the MVP of the league, we had the coaching MVP, we had the rookie of the year. Now we ain't got squat. So a lot has happened in 6 weeks.
These 5 guys, what do they all have in common? Jackson Dart, Justin Fields, Jacoby Brissett, Bryce Young, and Tyler Shuck. What do those 5 quarterbacks have in common?
They probably all beat the Bucks, probably. Or all came close to the Bucks anyways.
They all have a better completion percentage this year than Baker Mayfield.
Really?
Justin Fields. Bro, you saw one of those stat lines where didn't he have like minus yards in the game?
Yeah.
He was like 1 for 6 with minus yards.
Yeah.
Jackson Dart can't stay out of concussion tent.
Nope.
Tyler Shuck, we just saw. Jacoby Brissett was only filling in for this guy. I feel like we're in and Bryce Young. Nobody's convinced that he's like the end all be all. He's just kind of doing enough, staying out of the way. I feel like we're in a tough spot with Baker Mayfield in the Tampa Bay area because everybody was gassing him up, Beck. And now nobody's really saying the quiet part out loud. And I don't give a shit if the guy's injured or not. And you've told me this before. Jay, don't make any excuses for guys. Everybody's hurt at this point of the season. If you're out there and you're playing, you're expected to play. You've told me that many times. You're not healthy after week 1 anyway. Mm-hmm. So I don't want to hear when people tell me, well, Baker's probably banged up and this, that. You're out there playing, dog. That's just the way it goes. Nobody's willing to say the quiet part out loud, Beck, but in the last 6 weeks, he has not played very well at all. Threw the interception yesterday. And for all the people that talk about, oh, Baker Mayfield or Todd Bowles is quiet on the sidelines, all you saw yesterday while Tyler Shuck was going up and down the field was Baker Mayfield looking miserable on the sidelines. His play has dropped off a cliff. What do you make of Baker Mayfield the last month and a half?
Well, I mean, it has fallen off a cliff, but I would say his supporting cast has fallen off a cliff too, though. We just don't run the ball. When Baker Mayfield was at his best, the Bucs were running the ball at their best. We also had Mike Evans. We also had, Ibuka earlier. Early Ibuka's not the same as Ibuka now. Okay, that's what football's funny. Ibuka's in his rookie year, and he's looking around, and he's looking at his body going, God damn, I'm in a funny time right now because he doesn't look the same. Chris Godwin looks like a good 3 now, but he's really a 1 because Mike's not out there. When Mike gets out there, we'll see what he looks like. Our tight end, Otten, is up and down. And then McMillan, if he comes back, we don't know. But this Buccaneer team, are they good offensively? Like I hear people speaking and they don't, like you just said, Baker hasn't played well the last 6 weeks. It's been way below average to me. Might have been one game where they scored 32 points in there somewhere where offensively they moved up and down. But other than that, this team just hasn't looked good offensively to me. Defensively, they may be the worst. We haven't stopped anybody in a month and a half. But offensively, when we go out there, I don't have the confidence at this moment, unfortunately.
And what's funny is like the one pass that I really can't fault him for was the one he threw an interception on, because Cam Johnson he kind of stopped his route and he really didn't fight to get in front of the cornerback. Yeah. And you look at the last 6 games, the Buccaneers are 2-4, and he threw for over 200 yards in one of those games. Yeah. And that was against New England. Yeah. 152 against New Orleans in the game they won, 273 against New England, $173 in Buffalo, only 41 yards against the Rams. They only played a half there, $194 last week, and 122, 14 completions for 30. And I'm with you. It's not just him, but people are afraid to criticize him because I don't know if it makes them think they're hypocritical, but it's everybody. It's everybody. He's gotten Gedeke back, right? He had Wirfs back until last week. So it's a weird dynamic with this team where I just don't, where is the positive? When you look at this team yesterday and you look at the last couple of weeks, Beck, where's the positive? Where can you hang your hat on? Because it's not the coaching. It's not the quarterback play. It's not the defense. It's not the health. What's positive for this team?
I'm positive that if they don't figure out a way to win this week, it's going to get pretty freaking ugly. I'm positive of that. Listen, Jay, I'm looking for it as well. And forget about just now. Let's talk about looking forward. Mm-hmm. Like, if the Bucs lose this week against Atlanta, which is not even close to being crazy, okay? If they lose this week, we're going to have to talk about revamping this team. And just like I said, 6 weeks ago, we were talking about how good of a shape this Buccaneer team was. We have a great coach. We have a great young quarterback. We have a great young receiver. We have a great young offensive coordinator. Now, you mess around and lose this game, and you're going to have to dismantle the whole thing, okay? I mean, the whole thing. So this is a tough time, right? If you're a Buccaneer fan right now, it's a tough time. We're out there fighting for a team who's still in it, by the way. But what they put out in the field the last 4 weeks could not give anybody confidence that they're going to even make the playoffs. Forget about make any noise during the playoffs.
I feel like we're at the point now. I feel like we're at the point where it's not that they're better than the Falcons. It's just if they win this game, the Falcons just might be worse than the Bucs, right? Like that in a weird way. That's how you look at it. That's how you have to look at it. It's like if they win, I don't know if it's a feather in your cap. It's just like they're just a bigger dumpster fire than you are.
The last 4 weeks, I don't know if anybody's worse than the Bucs in all of the NFL. I mean, there's teams that are probably the equivalent.
No, the Titans won yesterday.
That's what I'm saying, though. Like the Bucs are playing as bad as anybody out there, and that's a shame. And I think going back to the Baker Mayfield thing, I think he's so polarizing, and he is polarizing because he's the first pick in the draft, and I think you either have to be in the Baker Mayfield, side or against him. And I think that's why people jump on his side so much, because it's hard to go from telling everybody you're going to be MVP to he sucks. You see what I'm saying? Like, I did that. Like, I'm like, damn, he's definitely playing MVP level. So for 3 weeks later, for me to say it sucks is tough. So I just think that it's such a fall, but his game has fallen. There's no doubt.
Yesterday, we look at a situation where everybody talks about injuries and Yaya Diaby can't get to home against a third-string right tackle. I want to ask you about the defensive side of the ball. Like, if you're building a team going forward, let's say this team doesn't make the playoffs, who are part of your defensive pieces going forward? Like, who are the guys that you're building around? Because Levante's probably gone. You can't tell me that Servassier Dennis is going to be a part of this team going forward. Jamel Dean's probably not coming back. They made him take a pay cut. Zion's going to be here. Is it just Vita, Kalaj? I mean, what do you do with some of these guys on defense? It's tough, right? Even as I'm asking this question, you're like, shit, I don't freaking know.
Well, that's why I brought up the future, because I start to think about that a little bit. Like, I'm going to do my trenches right after this, and one of the big categories was the future and where are we going from here. When you bring it up that way, Jay, and I was thinking about that. If we lose, say we lose this week against Atlanta, okay, then everybody's like, okay, we're not going to make the playoffs. Some of the questions that you just asked are really legitimate questions. Like, so where do we start our defense from? Like, who are we building around? Because the answer is Vita Vea, and
I don't know if it is. I don't know if it is, Beck.
Give me another answer.
I just don't know if it's him.
Well, then it has to be him. There's nobody else. There's nobody else that you can tell me unequivocally is going to be
30.
part of that defense next year other than Vita Vea. That's it. And it's a shame because I don't think he's a good enough player to build around. I think he's a great piece. I mean, like Levante David obviously is probably going to be elsewhere or be done.
Yeah,
okay, in all due respect, Savassi Dennis is going to be the same player next year. He's just he has liabilities, and then Jamel Dean is so butthurt probably with the way this season went. He's going to go elsewhere. So that's half of our defense right there. You're going to keep on bringing these same schleps out there to keep on trying to rush the passer. I'm tired of watching it because it ain't happening. Nobody's getting after that passer. And, Braswell got a sack yesterday. That wasn't a real sack. That was a coverage sack on a rookie quarterback. So even though they got some sacks yesterday, that's not something I don't think that's going to last either.
Vita got one. I think Greg Gaines got one.
Yep.
Greg Gaines and Braswell.
Right?
Yeah, I mean, Tyke Smith and Antoine Winfield Jr. and Zion McCollum, those three guys. And then you have the rookies in Morrison and Parrish. And Christian Izzian played his ass off yesterday. Maybe I got to give him some love. 29. He made a bunch of plays yesterday. But another thing, too, I haven't mentioned this, is the special teams. The special teams play. What do good teams do? They do the little things back. And, I mean, how many times do we have to look up on this team and they give up a kickoff we can't even return the ball on a kickoff. The ball gets hit the ground. Cam Johnson was the NFC Special Teams Player of the Week early on the season. This guy can't even field the ball, and the Buccaneers are giving up the booty pretty much every time, 30, 40, 50-yard line. That special teams coach is crazy.
Yeah, I don't know the special teams coach's name. I don't think it's going to matter because I don't think
Thomas McGahee.
Yeah, I don't think he's going to be here next year. But listen, when you get your team fired up for a football game and you kick the ball off and the other team runs the ball past the 50, your momentum's gone. I mean that's
gone.
Seriously. It doesn't make these special teams, yikes. This whole year just hasn't not been a pretty thing. I don't know if it's won a game. It's certainly lost a few games for sure.
All right, let's finish off on a high note. Indiana football. I know you felt good about that victory. What's your confidence level going into the college football playoff, the number 1 seed?
Yeah, way higher than it was before that Ohio State game.
Really? Okay.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, listen.
Well, you told me originally, you were like, well, it's one of those that are like, it's hard to beat a team twice. You probably have to see him again,
Yes. But listen, I just think Indiana's a better team. All right. So it doesn't mean they can't. But going into the Ohio State game, it's still Ohio State who's been there for the last, 30 years? Mm-hmm. So you still got to give them their respect. And if we run into Alabama, you got to give them respect too. You know what I mean? Like, Alabama ain't scared of Indiana. There's no reason for them to be scared. So I think we're at a point now where I think Indiana is as talented as anybody out there. But football doesn't mean you're going to beat them, though. Because the other team doesn't know about all this different shit like that,
But how nice is it, though, to be able to be in a position where it's like, we got a shot, right? You're in the position.
But 2 years in a row, I mean, they had to play off 2. Indiana is the only team that's up there twice. There's probably other teams, but
yeah.
I'm feeling good about myself 2 years in a row being in it. So it's a different feeling, and I don't dislike it.
No, not at all. All right, you got In the Trenches podcast coming up. Make sure you guys follow him. Ian Beckles Show on Instagram and, of course, the YouTube channel. They're playing college football over there. He's streaming it live. You can check that out. Of course, In the Trenches podcast as well. Ian Beckles Show. Beckles and Recher every Wednesday at 3:15. You definitely want to check that out as well. He is the latest man. What's going on at the Dignitary Cafe, 4817 Southwest Shore Boulevard?
Same old. The band of gypsies are all hanging out by the bar and sipping on that kratom and that kava. And we're just changing lives. You know how we do it here.
Bert and the Band of Gypsies.
Yeah. That's a good name of a band. I like that.
Bert and the Band of
Not
Gypsies.
bad.
Yes, Bert's still dead to me. So
He dead to you?
unless
He's dead.
unless he buys me a pizza to make up for his lascivious comment that he had a couple weeks ago, he's still dead to me.
With jalapenos.
With jalapenos, because his breath is hot as
man.
hell. I appreciate you back. Thank you so much. And always a good time. And I'll see you on Wednesday, my friend.
All right, kid. Peace.
See you, buddy. The great Ian Beckles, man. You know we're bringing the truth. Keeping it 100 here on the program. Guys, follow me on all social media platforms at Recher. We've been fired up this first hour. We're going to get back into it at 1:30, our Buccaneers talk. We're going to talk some college football here in a bit. But first, let me tell you about my friends over at Honest Hammer Custom Builders, LLC, 813-244-0956 for all your commercial and residential needs. You know, Hammer, our guy Russ is jacked up being a USF grad. I'm still just fired up about this Buck stuff. EverHealth. Our EverHealth injury report every Thursday with Dr. Rodriguez at 12:30. Like, these are the kind of people that you want to support. You want to support local, right? For anything that you're dealing with, your house, your home, right? I always emphasize this. It's not just your house, it's your home. You want to deal with people that you trust. Your health. How important? There's nothing more important than your health. EverHealth. That's why these are my partners here on the program. Again, 813-244-0956 for all your residential and commercial needs. Honest Hammer Custom Builders, thehonesthammer.com, thehonesthammer@gmail.com. Got some new pictures up on the website. Tell them that you heard it right here on the J Recher podcast. Get you a discount. And then EverHealth, everhealth.org, 17 different locations in Pinellas County. Everything from the cradle to the grave. They have the EverHealth Institute. If you want to go to school there, find your career, it's a great thing. I love them both. Honest Hammer Custom Builders and EverHealth are partners right here on the J Recher podcast. My God, man. Shout out to our guy, Nelly. Amen to the health, buddy. You know it. I'm still fired up about this entire thing. I just look at all the comments today, man. I mean, shout out to our 4 super chats. Chan in the house. Pass rushers, DBs, and our offensive coordinator need to be totally rethought. Oh, and Baker, he needs to be better too. CJ Hall, appreciate you. And Eddie, the unwavering beauty of the NFL. My Finns since firing Greer have been winning, and since the bye week, in my opinion, the Bucs have been on a downfield. Jay, I feel you. And then Evolve in the house. The team can't punch their way out of a wet paper bag with scissors in their hand. You're not wrong, buddy. You're not wrong. It's just so frustrating when you're watching this team play. Everybody, if you're watching right now, whether you're on Facebook, YouTube, or Twitter, please kill that like button for me. Every single like, share, and question, comments, and concern definitely does help. When you're looking at the Bucs, again, I was out there yesterday. I was out there in the rain in St. Pete with a baseball team, my 13-year-old team, guys. Let me give you a little peek behind the curtain here. I coach a 13, a 15, and an 18-year-old team. Our 13-year-old team, we have struggled. We're taking a lot of kids from rec ball, and we're trying to turn them into a solid group and get them ready for high school. They got about 18 months to go. And I told the parents very early on, it is going to be ugly. That first tournament was rough. Guys, we're 13. These kids are 13. They can't throw the ball and have a catch before the first tournament game. And I'm looking at them and I go, what the hell did I get myself into? But I love the challenge, man. I want that shit. Give it to me. I want you to try to be the best player, but the best version of yourself. And it was ugly. I mean, we've gotten our head handed to us on a plate so many times. Our pitchers can't throw strikes. I'm just like, stay with it, man. And we practice our tails off. These kids have busted their ass. And just the talent level, you have to cultivate it. You have to work on it. You got to get better and better and better. And we finally, in the last tournament, we finally won a game. And then we go into this tournament and we tie a game on Saturday that we should have won. And then the next game we lose 13-2. And we're just, I'm despondent on Saturday afternoon. I'm so pissed. I'm like, what are we doing? And it's not just about the results. It's about the effort. It's about the focus. And if you have a 13-year-old son or daughter, you know what I'm talking about. The kids are just different at that age in this generation. The focus, the energy, the effort, like you have to stay on top of them. I turn around, they're hanging from the bars like, they're on a jungle gym. And I'm like, what the hell, man? You're 13. Lock in. Get focused. So Saturday night, it's raining. And I'm like, I wonder if we'll play tomorrow. With my luck, I'll drive all the way out to South St. Pete. The game will get canceled and I'll come home. And I didn't apply for a credential for the Bucs because I knew I had baseball. But we go out there. Field was like shit. A lot of reasons that we could have made excuses. A lot of things to bitch and moan about. And even some of the parents were saying, oh, the field and the umpires and ball. I said, not doing that today. We're not doing that today. We're not complaining about the circumstances. We're going to go out here and we're going to do everything we can to win this freaking game. No excuses. I played every game as a kid like it was my last because my dad said, imagine you get into a car accident, you lose your leg, and never play again. Play every game as if it were your last, like your hair was on freaking fire. Don't let anybody question your work ethic. Those kids went out yesterday, and it was a little, tough to start. But they battled, and they battled, and they battled. And they hung in there, and they weren't as talented as the other team, and they stood tough. Charlie Cash on the mound. Carter Hill at the plate. Alex Cole at the plate. Owen Manship at the plate. AJ Acevedo in the field. Jack Lehman in the field. Will Howard in the field. Aaron Guy with the base hit. Mitch Shadis in the field. Everybody contributed to the game, to the win. Tommy Wallace in the field. Those kids, 13 years old, 1-9 going into the game, gave it everything they had at 9:30 in the morning on a shit field as the rain is pouring down. They had no reason to believe. There's no proof of concept. They haven't won jack shit but one game. And they believed, and they won 5-4. They showed heart. They aren't millionaires. They aren't guys getting paid an exorbitant amount of wealth to play a child's game. They gave it everything they had. And then, as I'm soaking wet, I drive to Ian's house. And we're sitting there with all the other dignitaries, and we're watching that performance from the Buccaneers. And they look miserable. No energy, no effort, no nothing. You're a millionaire. Where is the pride for the Buccaneers? Where is the energy? Where is the holy shit? Look at how many thousands of people are in the stands at Raymond James Stadium in the pouring rain supporting us. Where is that? Where's that gumption? Where's the heart? I didn't see that yesterday. I'm not the only one. I can't be the only one that saw that putrid performance and was sick of it. It's one thing to lose. It's another to lose like that to a rookie quarterback of a 2-10 team. Are you shitting me? Get bent. You want people to support you? You want people to back you with that type of effort? That type of execution? No, sir. No, sir. Not good enough. We'll go back to handing out slices of cake in a little bit, but I want to talk about a good thing that I saw today, and that was the USF press conference. Here's the link if you want to join in on the conversation. Brian Hartline gets introduced at USF today, and listen, I'm watching the USF press conference, and the audio and the video are, we got to do better. We got to do better there. And you guys know I love USF. I love the production team. I love the social media team. But the fact that I'm watching it on my phone and I think it's my phone, and then I pick it up on YouTube, and the stream's all shitty, and the sound, like, come on, man. Like, you can't do things like that. That's got to be better. Come on. It was very frustrating. But then I'm watching Real Law, and I'm watching Rob Higgins, and I'm watching Brian Hartline, and the video package, narrated by Derek Brooks, and it was exciting, man. It's exciting to see what USF has in store for the future. We get so bogged down with winning and losing press conferences, it really means nothing. And when I watch the press conference today, I don't come away with it thinking that Brian Hartline is this fantastic orator, like he's this guy that's going to sit up there and preach and be an analyst one day. Like, I don't see that in him. I didn't think he was like overly well spoken. And I got to be completely honest with you. I don't give a shit. I don't care. That means nothing to me. Who was more well spoken, him or Alex Golesh at his press conference? Golesh. What does that mean? Nothing. What I heard from that guy was intensity. What I heard from that guy was passion. What I saw from that guy was a guy that was fired up to be there. And sometimes if you're fired up and it makes you fumble your words a little bit and you're not that's not his job's not to be a public speaker, it's to be a football coach. And if you're so overcome with emotion in your press conference where you get a little I like that. I like that. Because it means that he cares. It means he gives a crap. I don't want to have conversation of how long he's going to be here. And again, earlier on this year, remember, again, this is why I hope you guys listen to the show. And I point things out because when we talk about things, months later, we always come back to it. Early on in the season, when everybody was talking about Alex Golesh's future, what did we talk about here on the program? We'll talk about it when the time comes. Because if anything, it's going to happen at the end of the season. Right? Let's not worry about it now. Let's enjoy the season. And we did. We did. We didn't have meaningless bullshit conversations. You know who does that? People that don't do their homework. People that don't dive deeper into certain topics. So they just pick the little apples off the easy tree when they're trying to come up with topics of conversation. And they don't dive deeper. And you don't get informed and you don't get entertained. You just talk about the same old bullshit that you hear on the radio and that you see on TV. Because you're not willing to have an in-depth conversation about shit that, just shows that you did your homework. No low-hanging fruit on this program ever. Ever. I love what I heard from Brian Hartline today. Even though he wasn't the most loquacious. I don't care. Don't really care. One guy that was there was our good pal Gio. What's going on, Bal? How are you?
Dude, I am fired up.
He's fired up, guys.
As you know, I'm a Buckeyes fan. Okay, and I had to go to this press conference because I've had season tickets since I've been in Tampa for the last 20 years. And your listeners already know about all the wide receivers he's produced at Ohio State, Abuka, Marvin Harrison Jr., Jeremiah Smith, and they all know he's a great recruiter. But to hear him speak in front of that huge group, by the way, Jim Lighthall hit a grand slam introducing the guy. The president of the university hit a grand slam. Weatherford spoke for a couple seconds. Higgins did a fantastic job. I love Higgins, dude. But when Brian Hartline comes up to the stage, he talked for maybe 10-ish minutes. Mm-hmm. Okay. It was like he got emotional talking about how much he loved his wife and his family and everything involved there. And he outlined like 3 major points that his program was going to follow. It was really incredible to hear him speak and to get him fired up. Of course, the entire crowd's fired up because we're all there wanting to support him. And this guy is going to lead us to 2 things, in my opinion, with Higgins and Derek Brooks' help. A new conference. I don't know what that conference is going to be. Of course, I would love it to be the Big Ten. I would love it to be the ACC, but a new conference is coming. And also, he's going to lead us into that brand new, shiny stadium that's going to be unbelievable. And I want to make a couple of predictions because, I love to predict stuff. We are going to make the big tournament at the end of the year with 12 teams. We're going to make it next year. I think we're going to win the American next year. This guy's going to do a great job getting people out of the portal. We're going to do well with Byron Brown or without Byron Brown. And if Byron Brown wants to increase his draft stock, I think his number one thing he should do is look and see what Hartline's done with all the other quarterbacks, all the other receivers that he's dealt with in Ohio State. And he could help him increase his draft status. Now, I do realize that SEC schools are going to throw money at Byron Brown, and they're going to say, hey, come on up to Auburn. Well, do you really want to play against the SEC defenses every week? Maybe they'll see some flaws, and maybe they'll make his draft status go down. Or do you want to stay in the American, light up the American? He's got a lot of decisions to make. But I think Brian Hartline is going to be successful with or without him. And Brian Hartline is going to be here when we enter that new stadium, and he's going to be here when we enter the new conference. But this is so funny. So I go out. I'm acting like I'm in the media. I go out and try and be with the media. Then they have me come back in because they realize I'm not the media. And then I'm in front of the stage. Brian Hartline walks by. And I don't know if you guys can see this. I got my Ohio State gear on.
Oh, my God, Gio.
I did get a photo with Brian, and I lean in after he gets the photo with me, and I said, thanks for beating Michigan, brother. And then I say, OH. He goes, of course, I love beating those guys. And then he said, IO, fist bump me, then leaves. Nobody else can hear because, of course, we're at a USF event, and he's still a coach for Ohio State. He did beat Michigan. So I had to give him a fist bump for that, but I thought I did it pretty perfectly. I just hit it real quick. But he was fired up, and I did have a very short conversation with his wife. She is so excited about living in the Tampa area. Also, he's got 3 really, really young kids, and they're going to be able to grow up in the Tampa area. So I don't know if you watched that press conference, because you did. That press conference was impressive. Oh, my gosh. How good was that video that one of the USF people created where they're talking about the success of the Rays and the Lightning and the Bucks and how this can help USF get to the next level. That video was so great. And I know USF has posted that video. So any of the people who haven't seen that video, you need to go to USF's football Twitter. But, Jay, you love USF as much as I do. The hire was a grand slam. Today's press conference was a grand slam. I cannot wait to see what this guy does for the University of South Florida. I'm fired up, bro.
Yes, you are. Gio, appreciate you, brother. We'll talk soon. Go Bulls.
Hey, great show. And I'm sorry for all the Bucks fans. That was a horrible loss. And Brian, they knocked me out of the Survivor League.
Oh,
Tampa Bay locked me out of Survivor. So I lost $1,400. So I'm not happy about it either, bro. All right, I'll talk to you later. Bye.
Gio, you're all over it, buddy. Eddie, you there, buddy? I'm going to get you on, Eddie. There he is.
Yeah, sorry about that.
No, you're good, man. What do you got for us?
First off, all I got to say about the Bucks, as a whole organization, fix it. Figure it out, fix it. Plain and simple. My fans, honestly, I'm surprised that they did this turnaround after firing Greer, to be honest with you. I can't really see your face because my phone camera's messed up, so I'm not really sure what's going on, but, like, I'm happy with my fans, to be honest. I still want Tua out. I might be content in keeping Mike, but again, I'm just happy that we're finally turning things around and guys are looking good.
All right. Sorry, Eddie. We lost you, buddy. Man, appreciate it, Eddie, because the freaking signal dropped on you there, buddy. We appreciate you, Eddie and Gio. Eddie's tuning in every day. Gio as well. We love you guys. Thank you so much for calling in. If you guys want to call in, you're more than welcome to as well. Yeah, I mean, Brian Hartline there at USF. That's for all the sadness and the madness and the anger from all the things with the Buccaneers. The stuff with USF makes you feel a lot better to see that and to hear the video with Derek Brooks and to see Rob Higgins there, and Ken Hagan was there as well as Dr. Rhea Law. Like, that's what it's all about. Team Tampa Bay, Champa Bay. I gotta keep things in perspective when it comes to Brian Hartline and USF, though, because until we have team in a different conference, and listen, ideally, if you go for him, is he going to go to a different place? Maybe he will one day. We don't know. But we'll take care of that when time when that time comes. Dustin's in the house. What's going on, brother? How are you?
Hey, what's up, buddy? Can you hear me okay?
Yeah, I can hear you. What do you got for us?
Yeah.
We got to get together. We'll definitely get together. Sorry, it was a busy weekend, brother.
Oh, no, man, you're good. I get it for sure. I get it. There's a lot of stuff going on my side of things too. Recruiting, National Signing Day, all that busy week. But listen, man, I'm here to talk about the Bucks, Jay, and what I saw yesterday, brother. No juice. And that's the part that really kind of concerns me, is because when you have leaders on this team like Baker Mayfield, when you have a guy like, I know he's not playing right now, but Mike Evans is on the sideline. Chris Godwin, they say that Levante David is the standard, right? They say he's the Buccaneer man. This is what we want everybody we bring in strive to be. Where's the juice? And look, I got a lot of complaints about Todd Bowles, sure, but I'm looking at the captains and the leader of this team, and I'm saying, when you have a division opponent that every time they come into your building, you know what it is. I was never expecting Tampa to win that game by 14, 21 points. I knew it would be tied in the fourth quarter. It's the Saints, man. They're coming to Ray J. Just to be sitting there, like, they look stuck in the mud in more ways than just one. And I get it was muddy out there, but they look like they just didn't want to be. They just didn't want to be out there, and I don't understand it. And in previous years, we've seen this now with Todd Bowles as head coach, this middle of the season swoon, the losing streaks. We've come to expect it, unfortunately. Injuries, that we can have that discussion. But these last couple of years, Tampa's been able to pull it out. They've been able to find a way to get across the finish line. That win at Carolina, I feel like, yeah, dude, hey, you made the play, great, but like, you pulled that one out your ass, Jay. Let's be honest.
Yeah.
It doesn't feel like that's coming this year. It just doesn't like it feel to me anyway. When I watch it, I was like, you know what? I think in years past, I felt like Tampa will get across the finish line, man. I feel like Carolina's going to pass this team. I'm looking at a team right now that just looks dead. They look lifeless. They don't look like they have any juice when they're out there on the field, on top of the major personnel concerns. By now, it's like, hey, Jason Licht, do you need to bring somebody in to help you out when it comes to drafting pass rusher? Or Hassan Reddick, I know he didn't get a break the bank type payday, but you're still not getting the production from what you paid for. There's no pass rush there, man. And it's continued to be an issue. I'm with you. When we rolled into the season thinking that a 13-year vet in Levante David and Savassier Dennis was just going to be the answer, like, no, there was obviously should be some concern there. And now you see it time and time again with what this league is. If you don't have a linebacker that can guard these versatile tight ends or these slot receivers or somebody, not a nickel, more so the slot receiver, they're going to attack the middle of the field, man. And if you don't have linebackers that can pass cover it somewhat, like at least be serviceable, there's nobody on this roster that can do that. So there's holes on the roster, sure. The Jamel Dean situation, and look, I cover Auburn, so I've followed Jamel Dean a long time. Think the world of him as a football player, but like, look at that situation now. You paid Zion McCollum, right? And which one's playing better, Jay?
Right.
So what does it look like? It just looks bad, and I'm not. Look, Jason Licht, like I'm with you today as far as everybody. When you let off the show saying it's everybody. Sure, people want to point at quarterback.
Everybody.
Sure, people want to point at GM. Sure, people want at coach. Look, at this point, man, it's everybody. And I'll finish here, man. My main thing is I look at expectations, and my expectations for a coach. What is Todd Bowles in his fourth year now? You're in your fourth year. This is your program, and you were DC before that. So like, you've been in this building, you've been established. Why are we in a must-win game at home, and everybody on the team looks like they don't want to be out there? Saints, this is a cliche thing to say, so I try to like kind of stay away from this a lot of times, but it applies to yesterday. The Saints wanted that football game more. And I'm asking why, and I'm looking at the leadership as to how in the hell that can happen with Carolina nipping at your heels, man. And we heard all season. This is one thing too that really pissed me off. I'm tired of in the tough stretches, because if you win your division, you're going to play a tough schedule next year. I'm tired of in the tough stretches when Tampa loses all these games in prime time to big time teams. The reaction being, but it gets easier. No, the best of the best need to want to beat the best.
Right.
It shouldn't just be, we're playing the Rams, we're going to get our ass kicked this week. Enough of that. And it just feels to me like that kind of mentality has kind of seeped in. And, when we get in, we'll beat the Cardinals and we'll beat the Saints and we'll get across the finish line and win the division and make the playoffs. Well, guess what? You lost one of those games that you had marked in as a must-win yesterday. So now what? This culturally, man, I'm not saying it's a losing culture, because, again, covering Auburn up close and personal, 5 straight losing seasons, what just went through with Hugh Freeze, I can tell you about a losing culture. Okay, I can tell you what it looks like. I don't think the Bucs are that. To me, Jay, it appears to be a stale culture. It appears to be a little stuck in the mud, and it's just that extra oomph is just not there. And this year, when the injuries got a little bit, they got a little bit out of hand, and that plays a part. But ultimately, man, this team, you made a great point about Yaya Diaby. You're going up against a third-string tackle yesterday, and we don't see you, buddy. We don't see you. And the thing is, there's enough tape now that I don't expect to see Yaya Diaby in these clutch situations.
You can't. And you know what's funny that you say that, too? Because my buddy Nelly called me before the show today, and we were talking, and I am not a big proponent on Todd Bowles' demeanor on the sidelines. To me, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter because the guys should be motivated, right? You're professional athletes getting paid $20, $30 million. If the coach isn't in your ass, like, that's your problem. Like, you're right. But I wonder if there does need to be a little bit more juice from him, right? And again, I'm not totally changing my stance on that. But when you're saying that this team has no juice, and I've been saying this, all show, and you've been listening. The fact that my 13-year-old team that's 1-9 had more juice in the rain yesterday than a team that's in first place in the NFC South, like, that's a problem, dude. And at the end of the day, we what do we love Baker Mayfield about? What do we love about him? His hair's on fire. He plays the game like with reckless abandon. Did we see that yesterday? As a kid, I loved playing in the rain. That was the time I was really playing like a freaking maniac. And we didn't see that from Baker yesterday. You're not going to get that from Levante. But if Baker's the guy that everybody says he is, yesterday was the game that you had to do it. And you mentioned the linebackers. Like, if you're not going to be a stud cover guy, fine. But you better get to the sideline and knock a guy out of bounds. You better not have them break a tackle and go and run for a first down like we saw yesterday. Like, there's just so many things about this team that you look at. And you're right, no juice yesterday. This is a game that you should have won, but coulda, woulda, shoulda. I hate that in sports. And now we look at the schedule down the stretch. Look, do you trust this team on primetime games, even at home against the lowly Falcons? I sure as hell don't. Then you go to Carolina, go to Miami, who Miami looked like a team that was going to, they were going to cash in. That's it. Get rid of Greer, eventually get rid of McDaniel. That's a team playing with some passion. That's a team that's like, shit, man, nobody thinks that we're any good. We're going to give you everything we got, reload next year and go from there. And then at home against Carolina in week 18. People said the end of the season, the last 5 games were, all right, fine. That's shit, man. They might go 1-4, 2-3. Why are we thinking they're going to go 5-0? And wasn't that how Raheem ended his tenure with all those losses at the end of the season? Watching this team is just, it's so, and I hate to be overly dramatic about it, but it's just, you're waiting for another shoe to drop. Like, all right, this is what they've done the last couple of years. But you and I both know, Dustin, every single year, the team has a different dynamic and a different kind of camaraderie and a different identity. And just because they've done it before in the past doesn't mean it's going to happen this year. And I don't see it. I don't see that Anthony Nelson play that you were alluding to in Carolina getting that fumble. Like, it just doesn't seem this is a team that sounds like they're reading all of the press clippings of all the injuries and all the woe is me and all the excuses, and everybody's like how great Yaya Diaby is. And everybody listens to all the bullshit with the pressures. I can't tell you. And they're my friends too. And I bust their chops about it all the time. Everybody's like, oh, the pressure percentage and blah, blah, blah. Your pressures don't mean shit if you're not getting to the quarterback. And do it against a good team, because all this team sacks come against the Saints, both games, the Jets and the Cardinals and all these crappy teams. Yeah. And you still have Yaya not getting 10 sacks. You still have Reddick not getting 10 sacks. It's mind-boggling how bad this team has gone, when just 2 months ago, a lot of people said they could be one of, if not the best team in the NFL.
In the previous years with Todd Bowles as head coach, again, you've lost these big games, and then you've kind of beat the teams you're supposed to beat. This feels like the first one, and maybe I'm missing one, but definitely at this point in the season, to where, like, okay, well, they beat the Cardinals, they survived that one, they're going to beat the Saints at home, and they'll, then they can beat the Falcons, and it'll all be okay. You'll be sitting there at 8-5. This was like the first one in the Todd Bowles era where, oh, you lost one you weren't supposed to late in the season, and now it's kind of throwing a kink in that whole idea of, well, we'll kind of find a way. And look, if Carolina does what Carolina has done in the past, which again, I'm predicting them to actually win the division this year. I just think this Bucs team is dead in the water. But if they fall apart and the Bucks get to, I don't know, if they go 2-2 down the stretch and get to 9-8, and then get their ass kicked in the first round, I'm still out. Like that's not good enough for me at this point in the Todd Bowles era, because yes, injuries play a part. And looking at this roster now, like I thought it was better on opening day than it actually is. There are just more holes defensively than I thought there was. But this is still a roster that should be better than hovering above 500 every year, and its ceiling being getting out the wild card round. Like the franchise needs to ask itself, okay, where do we go from here? Because I get it. You won a Super Bowl and then you made the playoffs every year. And I, like every other Bucs fan was watching, sat in Raymond James for, 14 years without a playoff?
Mm-hmm.
And so I get it. And you're like, all right, well, it can get bad, so you got to be careful when you make your decisions. But if I was the Glazers, what's the next step?
Yeah.
Where do we going to go from here? Because it's not that I think Todd Bowles is a bad head coach, but I don't think he's a great one.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that his overall record shows you
those are scary.
Those
are the scariest ones, because then you don't know when to cut ties. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you can hold on too long. Yeah.
All right, Dustin, I appreciate the call, man. We'll be in touch. We'll definitely talk some Auburn and Alex Gola soon. You got my word.
Okay. All right, man. Appreciate you, Jay.
Great stuff, man. Wham. Probably one of the better calls that we've had this entire year. Over 200 episodes here on the Jay Recher podcast. About 10 left of the season. Dustin, great call, man. I'll definitely get on the podcast with Dustin. You guys have my word. It's been a busy weekend for me, obviously, with coaching baseball. I slept when I got home from Ian's yesterday. I didn't watch much of anything else, man. I was dog tired. Getting up at 6 a.m. to go coach in St. Pete baseball, and then in the rain, that takes everything out of you. But you'll hear me with Dustin, no doubt about it. But oh my God, man, these freaking real quick before we get back to the Bucks. College football playoff, I just feel like the whole steam got taken out of everything because of the Miami Notre Dame thing. And now Notre Dame is out. They're not playing in a bowl game. They're talking about how everybody and their mother is, everybody's out to get us and all this other shit. Like, bro, come on, man. Notre Dame has gotten, and I like Notre Dame. My grandma was a Notre Dame fan. I always pull for them. I like unique things in sports. I like that they're not in a conference. I like that they live on their own island and they schedule games with whoever the hell they want. I like that kind of shit. I like that in sports. You know me. I love it. Sports are entertainment. We get so bogged down with like the sanctity of sports and this is hurting the. Who cares? I love Jake Paul and Logan Paul. I love James Toney against Randy Couture. I love crazy shit like that. I like stuff like this. But you can't have it both ways. You got the benefit of the doubt pretty much every year. And now this year, you lose to a team head-to-head, and now you're all butthurt because there was the reality of the situation, and everybody had a very fair opinion that you shouldn't be in because you lost a head-to-head matchup against a team that was right behind you. Don't blame anybody else. Blame yourself for losing that game. And now you want to play in a bowl game. Iowa State doesn't want to play in a bowl game. What are we doing? What are we doing? No bowl games for these schools? Do you know how important these bowl games are to these communities in our country? And I say that because I know the Outback, now the ReliQuest Bowl for Tampa and our area. You want to talk about revenue generators? It's huge here and huge in other parts in the country. Having these fan bases come here. I don't like this. I think that's very, very bad for college football. You come across looking spoiled. You come across looking like sore losers. I don't want to hear that. The scheduling does need to change. It does. Because now we're seeing again Notre Dame and Iowa State and K-State miss bowls. You owe the Big 12 $500,000. Quadruple that. Make it millions. Make it millions. Irreparable damage to some of these towns and cities that host these bowls. It's everything. How dare you? Go out there and play. Go out there and put some things on tape that can help kids get to the next level. How selfish is that? I don't understand. You have an opportunity to go out there and play a game, have these kids play a game, and put a game on tape. We've seen it in the past. We've seen it where guys opt out of their bowls and other kids step in and they get an opportunity to show and possibly get drafted. It's so strange, man. We saw it with Tyler Johnson in Minnesota at the Outback Bowl, drafted by the Bucs, helped them win a Super Bowl. Wild, man. Freaking wild. So as much as, the good with Indiana and good and watching Georgia and all, and yeah, okay, great. But to watch these teams lose and then, no, I'm not, no. Bullshit, man. And BYU wants to complain that you got smoked twice by Texas Tech. Sorry. And your schedule isn't all that great. I don't know. Sorry about your luck. All right, so let's get back to talking about the Bucs. We're going to talk about them a little bit more. Again, if you're just joining us for the first time today, share this on your social media platforms. Who would you hand a slice of blame cake to on the Buccaneers who fell short on Sunday to the Saints? I want to hear from you. We got the Bruce Balktrotter GIF on Twitter right now. Who are you giving? If I say, hey, here's a slice of blame cake, who are you giving it to? I'm giving it to Todd Bowles, first and foremost. He has got to own this. He has got to wear this on his chest. There's too much. There's too much blame to go around. Sorry, text. Matilda is one of the greatest movies ever. It's one of my dad's favorites too. My cake, I'm giving a slice of cake to Todd Bowles. I've defended you, Todd. I've defended you when people said that they should have went to Liam Cohen instead of you. I've defended you when this team has been able to dig out of their mid-season doldrums and finish the season strong the last couple of years. I've defended you when you have made changes to your defensive staff, when you brought in somebody to help you with your clock management. But what has happened these last couple of weeks is indefensible. And when I had this conversation with Ian earlier today, he would bring up that it's the players too. Again, it's not either or. It's not either or. It's everybody. Todd Bowles, you get the first slice of cake for me because your defense could not stop a nosebleed. You couldn't come up with and generate a game plan to stop a rookie quarterback on a 2-10 team in the rain. Sorry. The players will get their cake too. In this instance, you can have your cake and eat it too, Buccaneers. Awful. You get beat over the middle time and time and time again. And it's everybody. That's the thing. It's one thing if you're just getting beat by the Rams. If it's like, hey, against Devontae Adams and against Puka Nacua, all right. But it's them. It's no-name guys on the freaking New Orleans Saints. Did anybody know the name of some of these guys in the game yesterday? Anybody? They traded Rashid Shaheed. Chris Olave had 3 catches for 30 yards. Devon Valet, what? Foster Moreau, Jawan Johnson. These are the guys. You gave up 70 yards on the ground to Devin Neal. You could not tackle. Tyler Shuck, 2 rushing touchdowns. I don't understand the lack of adjustments for Todd Bowles in this defense. Are these guys as good as we thought originally? Obviously not. But you need to know them better than we do. Because as much as you follow this team, as closely as you follow this team, there are things that happen behind the scenes. There's things that happen on the practice field that we don't know about. We don't know. So it's your job to put these guys in a position to succeed. And it's not happening. It's not happening. So for all these people out there that want to say, well, it's not just Todd, it's the player, it's everybody. Go out there. When people put it on social media, when people talk about it on their podcasts or on their shows, and they want to absolve Todd Bowles and they want to absolve Jason Licht, who gets a slice of cake as well. You want to absolve Baker Mayfield, he gets a slice of cake. You want to absolve Yaya Diaby, he gets a slice of cake. You want to absolve Emeka Ibuka, he gets a slice. Godwin gets a slice. Hassan Reddick gets a slice. Levante David, Servassier Dennis, everybody gets a slice of cake. You're all getting a slice of blame cake. Not good enough. You're a team that had Super Bowl aspirations, deep playoff hopes. You're trending towards a team that is going to be out of the playoffs. You're going to let Dave Canales and Bryce Young win the division. Where is your sense of pride? Where? You could be all pouty and sour-faced all you want after the game. What about the mentality of, I will not lose this game during the damn thing? Emeka Ibuka's hit the rookie wall. He can't catch the ball. Chris Godwin, everybody says he's got great hands. Since when? Early on in the season, early on in his career, rather, yes. But now, if you ask around people that really pay attention to the Buccaneers, it seems like he has some issues holding onto the football in big moments. The lack of wherewithal with Cade Otton, not getting past the first down marker, is just mind-boggling to me. The fact that they let Tyler Shuck get away from them on the defensive line. It wasn't Josh Allen. It wasn't Lamar Jackson. It wasn't Michael frickin' Vick. It was Tyler Shuck. Tyler Shuck. Tyler Shuck, the Oyster King, comes into Raymond James Stadium leading a 2-10 football team and punks Baker Mayfield and the Buccaneers. You have got to be kidding me. That's not real. It's not real, is it? Oh, my God. I'm like, I can't. I try to like close my eyes when I open. I hope it's something different. It is something different. Our guy Hammer's here. Honest Hammer Custom Builders. What's up, brother?
What's up, man?
Oh,
Sorry, I'm still drying off from the rain yesterday, dude. From that crap we had to watch, dude. What a hat. Dude, I could have used that hard hat yesterday.
You should have had this, buddy. I wear this every time. Every time I'm happy, I wear this. But this is the first time I wore this when I'm not happy. I think they need more hard hats on this Buccaneers team, brother.
You know, I last time I had a feeling. Me and my wife always take the dogs around before we go to the game. We always take a long walk. And she asked me what I think the game's going to happen. And I tell her exactly what I think is going to happen. I'm not a homer. I'm a realist. And I said, you know what? The last time I thought we should beat a team as bad as I think we should win today. You know what game that was, Jay, last season?
Uh-oh.
It was the Broncos.
Oh, Jesus.
And they absolutely stomped us. Stomped us. Hey, Sean Payton. Did. Again, another tie. Sean Payton. Yeah. Right? So I had a bad feeling in my stomach from Jump Street. And Jay, I was one of those people. Juice is a good word, homeboy just said. I don't see any of it. Any of it. And I get it. Todd Bowles is stoic. Blah, blah, blah. Jay, you convinced me to let go of that over the last 2 years.
I'm back. I'm back.
It's not there. They are not there. It is trash. It's bad, man. We can say coaching, and it all starts, right? Who's keeping the special teams coordinator employed? Right. Todd Bowles. Who's not getting these guys fired up to start the game? Todd Bowles. Now Ian Beckles is going to say that's not the coach's job. Awesome. I agree, but still, you have to have some level of put your foot where it doesn't shine. And
Right.
that's why the guys in Detroit, they may not be the great team. They're not playing that well either. But guess what? When it came down to playing Dallas the other night, they did what they had to do, and they punched them in the throat.
Right.
We don't have that. Baker's the only dog, and people, I know you gave him some, when we're at the stadium getting soaked, we can't see them not being a leader on the sideline. Like, we go out there, and I see Chris Godwin drop a ball for a first down in the fourth quarter to keep the drive going. That's what I see. I see Cade Otton falling forward for a ball instead of backwards. I see Cam Johnson turning around in the wrong spot and not turning into I see Emeka Ibuka. My wife is so over Emeka, and I'm like, babe, he's a first-round pick. He's a rookie. Calm down. But yesterday was bad.
Yep.
That catch is a touchdown. None of that's Baker's fault. He's going to wear it, and he doesn't feel healthy either. But to have Sean Tucker, this is a creativity. It gets me. I've been calling for Sean Tucker. We all have.
Yeah.
What do? They put him back there with 4th and 1, and they run Baker. They fake with Sean Tucker, and they run Baker. We can't get out of our own way. Just an ass, and it's not happening. It's going to be found, man. And that's the unstoic. Like, John Cooper, I feel like, is a silent assassin. You know, like, that dude has it in him. John Cooper is like, I can accept it with John Cooper because when John Cooper is right, he lets you know it, and he does it really. But Todd Bowles, same thing. Oh, we just didn't make the little plays. We didn't do this. Dude, the middle of the field was open. They came into the red zone to start the game yesterday. I don't care where they started in the field. That dude Shuck, whatever his name is, runs an 11-yard run inside of our 20-yard line. And guess what? They ran the same play in the third quarter for a 55-yard touchdown run.
Yep.
So it all started from that first drive. I don't care where special teams put you, man. You can't have the field that wide open. And it starts with Todd Bowles. You've curved me to give him some leeway about the stoicism. But for me, you can even see it. I do this in work. When I'm talking to clients, sometimes I have this talk like, this is what's best for you. This is the route we need to go. I'm looking out for you. But you have to have the passion, or it's like, okay, all right. We almost built your house, right?
Yeah.
You know?
There's a little hole right there when it rains.
Yeah.
There's drops on the floor, but we did our best we could.
Just a little bit of rain came in the ceiling. It's just a little bit. We almost had it, Jay. That doesn't work in what I do, and it shouldn't work in what they do because they're making a heck of a lot more money than your boy here. So there's a whole lot of blame everywhere, bro. And it is bad. It's bad. I'll be there Thursday night, Jay. And
hold on. Go ahead.
It's one of those games, right? We should go in there. We should kick the front door.
I don't like that should word, buddy.
Are you? We're definitely not going to beat Carolina.
No, but I got my light on, so we're going to look for victory somewhere, buddy.
Can we just pray that Mike Evans comes back and is just like the savior of all beings, or that's just unreal. We've just like been putting it off all season. We're going to get these guys back is how it feels like, right? And we've just been we're going to get him back soon. We're going to get him back soon. Hey, but Hartline get introduced today.
Right here, baby. Honest Hammer Custom Builders. My guy Hammer right there. 813-244-0956. I say that in my sleep. TheHonestHammer.com. TheHonestHammer@gmail.com. You're the best, brother. I appreciate you. All right,
Thanks,
pal. We'll talk soon. Hammer's the man, bro. He was fired up today. Even he had a call in. He was jacked up, and I got my hat on. We're ready. We need somebody with some hard hats. You know who's getting the hard hat for their performance for the Buccaneers this weekend? Nobody. Maybe Christian Izzian. That's it. Is Hammer wrong? Is my guy Hammer wrong? I don't think so, buddy. I don't think so. And again, you have to let things play out, right? You have to let things play out. And what we're seeing from the Buccaneers, we haven't seen. So that's why when people saying, why are you changing your tune? There's a reason to. There is a reason to. I'm not looking for things that aren't there. I was very apprehensive when Todd Bowles was named the head coach of this team because I saw what happened with him and the Jets. Half of my family are Giants fans. The other half are Jets. I watched that shit. It was ugly. UGLY. You ain't got no alibi. Your defense stinks. Your defense stinks. And then he gets an opportunity with the Buccaneers. All right, show me something different. Show me something different. And it all goes back to this. All goes back to this. When you are a person that is a coach and you hang your hat on something specific and your team doesn't do that, you cannot expect to be employed very long. I had the umpires, and this is kind of ironic, and I was very grateful. We had two incredible umpires this weekend, Seth and Gene. These two guys that drove all the way from Ocala to umpire in St. Pete. Wild. 8:30 game, too, on Saturday. And we tied 4-4, and we won, and then we lost, 13-2. And Gene comes up to me, two young cats, too. And Gene comes up to me, he goes, my brother, you are the best fundamental coach that I've seen out here. This is after we lost 13-2. We didn't lose because of a lack of fundamentals. We just, the kids were learning. They're 13. We're teaching them the right way. It's just execution-wise, they have some issues. We don't throw many strikes. But we bunt, we hit and run, we, back players up. Like, we do a lot of the little things? And I've been preaching it all season long. It's always about the little things. We bunt, we hit and run, right? If I didn't do that, what kind of coach would I be? If you didn't see the effort to coaching those things and those players at least executing a little bit, why would you ever come play for me? I wouldn't fault you if you went somewhere else. Coach, we need a better fundamental. Hey, teach their own. You got to do what you got to do. If you're a guy like Todd Bowles, that is a defensive genius, a defensive mastermind. Again, this is not my words. These are other people around the National Football League. And your team's defense plays like that. I'm sorry. It's not personal. It's just facts. Your defense is not doing well enough. You want to blame the players? Fine. You want to blame the coach? Of course. Way too many yards given up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 24th. Nope. Even lower. 25th, 26th, 27th in yards given up. 27th in the National Football League. Worse than the Giants. You have got to be kidding. Oh, that's just passing yards. All right, fine. Sorry, that's just passing yards. Still, what about points per game? Yards given up or points given up? Oh, my God. 32, 31, 30, 29, 28, 27, 26, 25, 23rd in the league. 25 points given up. Who's given up less points per game than the Buccaneers? Let me tell you, some of these standout teams that have given up less points per game than the Buccaneers. Are you ready, folks? Are you ready, kids? The Bucs given up 25 points per game. The Saints, 24.2. The Falcons, 24.1. The Steelers, 23.9. The Cleveland Browns, 23.2. The Carolina Panthers, 22.8. The Miami Dolphins, 22.8. The Vikings, 21.9. The only teams that have given up more points per game than the Bucs: Raiders, Bears, Cardinals, Jets, Commanders, Titans, Giants, Cowboys, Bengals. Which team in the NFC South through 13 games gives up the most points per game? The Tampa Bay Buccaneers. And regardless of who you want to blame, regardless of what you want to say. And you want to talk about this and that, and it's not this guy and it's not that guy. I don't give a rat's ass. The Buccaneers give up 25 points a game. More than the Saints, more than the Falcons, and more than the Panthers. How in the blue hell do you expect to win anything if you give up more points than anybody in the worst division of all? No excuse. And that, screw the minutia, screw everything else. That right there, it comes down to points. That's the most important numbers. Everybody always wants to talk about all these different crazy ass statistics. In basketball and football, it comes down to points. In hockey, it comes down to goals. And in baseball, it comes down to runs. That's it. That's the most important statistic. That takes precedent over everything else. Ever. So if you are the Buccaneers, and in the most important statistic of all, you have the most points given up out of anybody in the division, it ultimately falls on you, Todd, whether that's fair or not. This is your bread and butter. It's not personal. I've defended the guy for many years. Regardless of everything else, regardless of the injuries and the lack of playmakers that you have. Jason Licht has to wear this too, no doubt about it. But if you are a guy that prides yourself on being a defensive head coach and you give up more points than anybody else in your division, the worst division in football, the blame goes to you first. I'm sorry. I don't make the rules. That's just the way it goes. Is he the only one to blame? No, not even close. Not by a long shot. There is plenty of blame to go around. But if you're Todd Bowles and you don't think that you're part of the problem, you got to be looking in the wrong mirror, my friend. Not good enough. Not good enough at all. This Bucs team, that performance on Sunday was embarrassing. Embarrassing. Everybody's to blame. Bowles, Baker, Light, Yaya Diaby, Servassier Dennis, Levante David, Emeka Ibuka, Chris Godwin, you could, whoever. So many people to blame for what has gone on with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers the last couple of weeks. It's not a percentage thing. It's not him more than him or him and not him. It's everybody. Everybody gets a slice of that cake. Everybody gets blame. And if they don't turn it around, heads are going to roll. Things are going to change. Isn't it crazy? A couple months ago, people thought this was the best team in the NFL. Now, they're staring down the barrel of missing the playoffs altogether. Life comes at you quick. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. All right. Let's finish off with the winners and losers from the weekend. The losers, obviously, is Tampa Bay. The Tampa Bay Lightning, what's going on? With the losses and the injuries. Braden Point comes off IR. It looks like he'll be back tonight, which is good. Him and Kucherov, so that's good. But, Victor Hedman back, which is good. It's been kind of crazy with those guys. What else? Another loser from the weekend. Whatever's going on with Liverpool and Arne Slot and Mo Salah, like that whole situation, ask our guy David Terry. The future for one of the best players in Premier League history is very cloudy. The relationship between Mo Salah and the head coach of Liverpool Football Club, Arne Slot, it's I don't know if Salah's getting unfairly blamed for the team that won the Premier League last year and now just looks like a shell of themselves. I don't know. It is just really, really ugly. for them. It's crazy. It really is. Real Madrid loses 2-0 to Celta Vigo. What's Xabi Alonso, another former Liverpool guy? What's his future as the gaffer of Real Madrid? They fire managers left and right. No surprise there. How about the MLS Cup? How about it? Congratulations to FC Miami or Miami FC for winning it. Lionel Messi, David Beckham, and the crew. Good for them. Coming out on top, beating Vancouver. It was fun. It was a fun little match there. So, MLS is MLS. I wish I got more pub, but they need to change their schedule so they're not going head-to-head with football in this country. If they do that, they'll be in good shape. Man U in action today, 3 o'clock against Wolves, who haven't won a game this year. They obviously tied on Thursday. They're still pissing me off. I don't know what to expect at 3 o'clock. So, I don't know if you guys watched the UFC fight. What a weird thing altogether. Rob Devalishvili, he loses his bantamweight championship to Petr Yan. It's kind of a weird fight. I mean, is what it is. I mean, there's some good shots from both sides. Petr Yan, he is the new champion, so now he fights Sugar Sean O'Malley. That's what everybody wants to see. Sugar on top of the crown, on top of the mountain again. Alexander Pantoja loses his title to Joshua Van, dislocates his shoulder. That was crazy. Absolutely crazy there. That was ugly to watch. Brandon Moreno, former two-time champion, gets absolutely pounded by Tatsuro Taira. And to see a Tatsuro Taira Kyoto Hiraguchi flyweight match in Japan would be badass. 18-1. Some people would say it's an early stoppage. I didn't think so. He was getting mollywopped. And, yeah, you were kind of intelligently defending yourself, but it didn't look like you were getting up. So I have no sympathy for him whatsoever. Henry Cejudo, in his final fight, loses to Peyton Talbot. He got jacked up. His face looked just time to hang him up. One of the greatest fighters that we've ever seen. So congratulations to him to go out on top there. And then just trying to make sure that I catch on. All right, we'll finish with the best. We'll finish with the best. All right, you guys ready? We're gonna finish the show on a high note. Saturday night, I was not there for the Tampa Bay Lightning game. I was a little busy picking up this bad boy right here. University of Tampa Spartans 2025 NCAA National Baseball Champions. MC the event for Joe Urso, Sammy Militello, Jose Jimenez, and the UT Spartans. As you guys know, we talked about it on the show. The now 10-time national champions. And when they asked me to be the MC for the second year in a row, I was like, of course, dude. I went up there. We talked about it on our show, the incredible journey that I had going up to Cary, North Carolina to cover and to just support them. Is that a battery in there? Another battery? What is? Oh, it's for the lights. Okay, I'm kidding now. So I was like, yeah, of course, buddy, whatever. But they also said, what's your ring size? And I'm like, nah, man, no way. They're like, yeah, ring for you. You're our ambassador. And I'm like, dude, no way. Well, your boy got a ring. You ready to see it? Hold on. This, that. All right, here we go. Oh, yes, I don't want it to drop, so I'm carrying it like this. All right, so here's the ring. University of Tampa national champions. The 10 because it's their 10th national championship. If you look at the side here, Spartans 2025. Little hands gesture that they do. Our guy Cooper, the bat boy, the best. And look, your boy even got his name on it. Recher. How cool is that, man? Kind of hard to tell. And then when you spin it, there's an 813 right there. I'm trying to make sure that's on. How cool is that, man? 813 national championships. My name's engraved on the inside too. Just an incredible event, an incredible night with a bunch of people. I'm so it's huge, and it's tight on the ring finger. But you see the Tampa baby national champions. Pretty badass. I can't thank Joe and Sam and Jose and everybody, but there you go. One more time. Tampa baby national champions. Badass. Love it, man. Love it. Just so freaking cool. I'm so grateful for those guys, and being the MC that night and being able to talk about all the different things and the leadership and the mentorship from Joe Urso and everybody. That's true winners. And in my mind, the best coach that this city has ever seen at any level. 10 national championships at UT. Joe was part of 7, I think, as a coach, and maybe 1 or 2 as a player. It just doesn't get much better than that. What a freaking show today. Holy smokes. Dustin with the call and Gio and everybody, man, everybody was ready to roll. To be able to talk about our guy on the program today, Brian Hartline. I know he's going to be on with T-Kraz, I think, later on today, so that'll be fun. Go check that out on WDAE. And yeah, we're going to post everything that's up from today's show and why the blame goes to everybody. Everybody gets blamed, not just Baker, not just Bowles, not just Jason Licht. Everybody from the Tampa Bay Buccaneers deserves blame because that was just not good enough. You all deserve better as Tampa Bay Buccaneer fans. It's one thing if they lose, but the effort, that was just dog crap. Absolute dog crap. Big thank you to Chan and for Eddie for the super chats, and of course, Evolve, Eddie again, CJ Hall, and Chan. You guys are the best. Thank you so much for all of that. You guys are the best. Again, follow me on all social media platforms: Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, Twitch, TikTok, Instagram. I am everywhere. Like and subscribe on YouTube as well. You guys are the best. Our guy Hammer even called in today from Honest Hammer Custom Builders LLC, 813-244-0956. Give him a shout. Tell him that you heard it right here on the Jay Recher podcast. Get you a discount for saying that you heard it right here on the program. And of course, EverHealth, everhealth.org. Our guy, Dr. Carlos Rodriguez, joins us every single Thursday here on the program. He was the first guy to tell you that Tristan Wirfs wasn't going to be playing on Sunday. Man, we only have a few shows left when you think about it. I mean, today's what? The 8th? Next weekend's the 15th, 16th, 17th, 18th, 19th. Yeah, the next Friday is the next show. Next Friday is the last show, not this Friday, but the Friday after. So you figure after today, we have 9 shows left on the year. Wow, man. This year has just it's been amazing. It has been freaking awesome. I love you all. I respect you all. I thank you for the support. You guys are the best. We'll see you tomorrow at noon right here on the Jay Recher